in terms of how important is the Chinese property sector to the overall economy, it's central. It's much larger as a share of GDP than almost any other major economy. So it's absolutely critical to what happens next, I think. In terms of leverage in the sector, I think you're right to highlight that point. As it happens, I'm a bit more sanguine on the debt burden that China's carrying compared to a lot of other China bears. I don't think that we're on the cusp of a hard landing in China, a kind of debt-induced banking crisis, principally because most of the debt's in local currency, it's by state-owned banks, it's backed by the PBOC and the government. But I think if problems do emerge, it's likely to be amongst property developers. And then if that happens and there's not a sufficient injection of liquidity into the system, well, we know from previous crises just how quickly those things can spread through the financial plumbing. So it's a weak spot. I don't think it's a systemic risk at this stage, but if a problem is to emerge with regards to debt in China, I think it's going to be in and around the property sector and property developers, and it's certainly a weak spot as I look at the system.
Yeah, Neil, you know, as China goes about playing this game of economic determinism, which the West is well familiar with. I mean, companies and outfits that should die are allowed to die a slow death or allowed to go the way of the dinosaur. The thing is, I mean, for China, this is the first time they're actually doing that. So what I want to know is, as they, I mean, who are they going to end up supporting in the property sector? Is it going to be the usual names, the huge developers, because they're too big to fail? Or is it going to be the smaller players, which are throwing bonds and paper out there, which are carrying coupons, which start in the low teens and have a lot of investors salivating? I mean, at the same time, I mean, just as assets, some assets are cheap for a reason, some things are also expensive for a reason. It's simply because of the risk involved.
Exactly, and I think if you're sat in Beijing, you're in the PBOC, you're in the regulator, you're thinking about these systemic risks, it's clearly the developers and the institutions that are too big to fail that is going to take much of your attention, I think. But they're treading a really fine line here between, as you say, not wanting to overinflate the property market again, but by the same token, not wanting to pull back too quickly and therefore risk a big downturn that precipitates much wider problems in the economy. So I think it's the clear weak spot. All the focus today clearly on the trade deal. What does it amount to? Can it be enforced? What comes next? Is there a phase two? I'm rather doubtful that there will be a phase two. What kind of decoupling is happening in the background? In and around trade, but the property sector we need to keep one eye on too.
Hi, I'm Emily Tan, and thanks for watching CNBC. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.